Good morning. Ciao. Buongiorno.
All right, all right. Okay, great, great. Right. So, before we start, I would like to ask. Maybe I'm getting. I get close to the mic so you can hear me well. I'm going to start with a few questions. You know why we are here today? Yes. Okay, why are we here? We send John Frusciante. Okay, to listen to John Frusciante speaking.
Not the
All
guitar.
right.
Not the guitar player.
All right, yeah. Okay, what are we gonna talk about? About this book, The Peasant of Apice. Okay, the peasant of Apice, right? Okay, okay. So can anyone tell me what is the book about? The story of his father. The story of his father. Okay. Can anyone remember the name of of his father? Sabato. Sabato, right. Okay.
Oh, you
I
learned.
also say that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you were well prepared. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, just a short introduction. Um, just I know this is an easy question. It is a question of logic, if you think. Can you name some causes, some reasons, some circumstances that explain why we had the rise of fascism and Nazism right after World War One? So in the early 20s. People were angry. Sorry. Because the people were angry. The people were angry. And since most of the countries which technically won the war, it was like a multi war. Okay, okay. What's your name? Okay, say again. Yeah, I just said because it was a mutilated victory after World War One, and people were angry. Okay, so you remember I was employment at the time or unemployment. How was this situation referring to unemployment right after World War One? How was it? I was unemployment. Everybody had a job. Everybody was happy. No. So how was it? People didn't have jobs, so unemployment was high or widespread. Okay. So how about the economic situation? Most of the countries in Europe was in debt with the Americans. Okay. So Italy was in debt. What about Germany? What did Germany have to do after World War One? Germany? Okay, so right. Okay, reparation payments that were very, very high. How about inflation in Germany? Very high. Very high. We thought about we said we talked about hyperinflation. Okay, hyperinflation, economic crisis, widespread unemployment, social tensions. Okay, and so in Italy as well. Okay, so the circumstances are similar in both in Germany and in Italy. And in fact, what do we have in Italy at the beginning of the 20s? What kind of movement was organized at the beginning of the 20s in Italy? At the beginning of the 20s, we have it was just a movement, not a party. The fascist movement, right. That was actually created there, 1919, 1920. Okay. And what about in Germany? What kind of party started to get some followers at the beginning of the 20s? The Nazi Party. Um, so, and the Nazi Party became very important, so important that in 1933 it had millions of followers. Can someone tell me what kind of role propaganda had both during the fascist regime and during the Nazi regime? What kind of role? Expand the message. Yes. So with what instruments? Which instruments did we have? Radio. Yeah. Yeah. Newspaper, radio, magazines, posters, cinema, and some people had a TV. Yes. Yes. Also speeches in park. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, can you remember um, which ally did Germany have during World War II? Allies of Germany? Yeah, Italy, exactly. Yes. Italy and Germany were allied in World War II. So, World War II started in 1939, but do you know what happened in 1943, in September 1943? Yes. Yeah? Yeah. With the arms and okay, so Italy signed an armistice with the Allies. And so at this point, Italy was not an ally um, of Germany anymore. How did Germany react? What did they do in the north of Italy? They started like invading. They started invading, okay? But so what kind of government did we have? In 1943, September 1943, in the north of Italy. Nazi fascism. Okay, it's called. Yes, exactly. The Republic of Salon, which was in the north of Italy. But what about the soldiers? The soldiers, the Italian soldiers. What happened to them? Okay, they were captured and deported to Germany. Okay, they were given a choice. They were given a choice either to fight with the Germans and die there, or fight or just go to camps. There were forced labor camps, concentration camps. Do you remember how they were called? Were they called prisoners of war? Internees. Okay. Do you know why? Okay, they didn't have the rights of prisoners of war. Okay. Um, hi. So John, would you like me to ask more questions, or would you like me to give you the floor so you can start?
It's up to you. I can just tell you a little bit about the book, how it started, and it's up to
Yeah.
you.
Yes, please.
Oh,
Yes, please. Yeah.
well, yeah, in 1943, like she said, the the Italians switched sides, and this is basically what the story of this book is about. Uh, I don't know if you saw the picture, but basically the picture tells the whole story of the contadinos working the fields, working real hard, and then they don't understand that they're going to end up here in Nazi Germany and working even harder and dying. Uh, Let me tell you how I started the book. It might be boring to you, but it was during COVID, and I was bored. I was watching Netflix. I don't know if you have Netflix over in Milan. Uh, can you switch the camera so I can see the kids a little bit?
Sorry.
Thank.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Hi, can you see me now? uh, I was bored, and the reason I started the book is because I saw all the movies on Netflix, and they were just boring. A lot of the good ones were good, but then there was a lot of bad movies. I said, man, my story's better than this. So that was how I started. I started writing it down, and I didn't even know that there was a term called Italian military internees. I just thought he was a prisoner of war. The story that my father told me, that's how I started. And the more I researched, uh, the more I got into it, the more I found out. And like Senora Daniela said, the Italians switched sides in 1943. Uh, I think basically to survive and not to get Italy destroyed. Uh, and the story starts way back uh, in the book. It starts way back in a little town called Apice. In Milan. I don't think you're very familiar with that town. It's a little town right here by Naples. The whole the whole population of the town right now, and I think always has been about 5,000 people. That's probably your neighborhood. Probably maybe the size of your school. Not very big at all. Yeah, yeah, I'm joking, but it, my mother was born next door to my father's house, and they both uh, grew up together their whole life. They got married, and then when it came to go to the military, it was 19, I think in 1942 or 1943 around there. My father had joined the army, and he was sent to a place up north by Torino, I believe. We don't know exactly where, but there the Germans were just destroying the Italians. The Italians were no match. I mean, Germany was the number one fighting machine in the world, and the Germans gave them an option: either you die here, or we'll put you on a train. And they said you can go home, go back home. And the Italians said, well, if we continue, we're all dead. So they laid down their arms, but the train didn't go home. It went to Berlin or Germany, and then to concentration camps. And the story that my father tells me is that he was there from 1943 to 1945 until the war ended. The what the story that he tells me is that since he was a hard worker, he knew how to work with his hands. The Germans liked him, so they moved him to a factory to work in a factory. Uh, uh, and the way he survived, the story is that we have that is that the Germans would have dinner, and they would peel the potatoes and throw the potatoes in the trash, in the garbage, and my father would go in and steal the potatoes, and if he got caught, he would have got killed. But that's how he survived for 2 years uh, in Germany. And then after, in 1945, in the spring, when they opened the doors and they couldn't believe that the war was over, they had no radios or anything like that. Uh, they they finally left the camps, and they had to walk. The story is 27 days on foot to find a place like a American base so they can get help and at a hospital. The stories that he told me is that during the walk, many people did not survive. They didn't want to go through the 27 days of walking, and they were just desperate and didn't make it. And even on the way home on the train, people just gave up. And also even later when the Italians went home, uh, the memories of being there uh, just would not let them go, and uh, they didn't survive either. Uh, it was a horrible time. I have some pictures. This is what my parents looked like. Can you see that? It's Salvatore and Rosa. This is 1953 when they had left Italy. Italy was broken, and I think because of they were in the camp, when they went back home, people had different opinions. People loved Mussolini, and some people hated Mussolini. I mean, during the war in Milan, people were shooting each other in the streets. There was a civil war because it was two different parts. And even today, in my own family, my family is Italian, and I have first cousins all over Italy and Switzerland. Some people, they still a little bit soft on Mussolini. they kind of still like him, but and other people didn't, and that was the setting. And my parents just couldn't. They had a family that had two kids in Italy, and they couldn't survive. They couldn't make it. The story is they used to work all day for a loaf of bread, a couple of peppers, and an onion, and that was their pay. They just couldn't make it. And Argentina had not been in the war, and the food was cheap, and they were giving away land, so they went to Argentina, and that's where I was born. I got a I got a few more papers here. This is the medal he received for being in the war. It's the medal of merito de guerra, and this is the old paper that they came with it, and the certificate.
When he was discharged, you mean?
Yeah.
Croce al merito.
Well,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, the medal came in Argentina. I still remember. I was
Right.
I was about 5 years old. That's when it came. 5 or 6 years old. A long time later, maybe 1960, they finally gave it to him. And this is a document saying that he was in the war. I'm in a prisoner. It's a translated document. I don't have the original one. Uh, Things get lost. But that's basically the story. Uh, I made up. I couldn't find exactly where he is. I'm still looking to find where he was in Germany. But I made up the story basically around the facts. I started writing it in 2019. I thought it would be over in 6 months. Well, it took me 4.5 years to write the book. So I have this one in English, how I first started. This is a reverse, I think. I don't know
No,
if
no, it's okay.
it's okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, good. And it took. I'm not. I speak a little Italian, but I had to have a translator translate it, and I also did it in the Argentine.
All right.
So I mean, if you're gonna write your stories, I believe your stories are valuable. You know, if you're gonna write, just remember it's not that easy. It takes a little bit. If you have questions, it'll be great.
Do you have any questions? Like, what was the inspiration or basically to tell the story? Yeah. Sorry? No, in English. Uh, Sorry? How did you? How did you feel writing? How did you feel? Ah, Okay. Julia here is asking me, how did you feel when you first start writing? When you first started writing the book, how did you feel?
Oh, I was bored.
No, no. No, not by what, why because you started, but when, how did you feel when you started writing? Like you mean like it brought up a lot of memories, Julia? With
Yeah,
your dad?
it was emotional, to go through it. Uh, at first, it was, well, how did I knew my father, and he had some issues because of the war, but I felt like love for my parents, my father, and I wanted to write down the testimony of what had happened. And not only that, but also because the Italians suffered in the camps along with many others that never people have never heard about. The Polish and the Russians. I think they've heard about. But there were 650,000 Italians, and 50,000 that we know of died in the camps. And my father barely survived, and uh, I felt like people needed to know uh, that Italians also suffered, and that's the reason I'm not pushing the book to make money or anything like that, but I want people to know, especially in America, they don't know. I mean, they read the book and go, I didn't know all that. I thought the Italians were against us, but it's just something to show them that we suffered too, and it was bad for everyone.
Right. And also, even when he returned, maybe he wasn't planning to go to Argentina straight away. Maybe he was planning to stay in Italy, in Apice, and then he realized that the situation was so difficult that he had to leave.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it took a lot, and there was a whole group of them that left, and they went to Argentina.
Right. All right. And
The,
how long did your mom have to wait before joining him?
oh yeah, 2 years. I believe it was 2 years she had to wait in Argentina before they went down there. The group of Italians went, and they all helped each other build houses. How they. I don't know if in Milan might be different, but down in Apice, when someone gets married, their parents help them build a house, and basically that's what they did in Italy. Everybody built their house, and then my mother went and met them down there.
All right.
There was a question, a young man with a white sweater.
How was your relation with your parents? I mean, since we were young until, I mean, now.
Can you help me with that?
How was the relationship with your parents when you were young?
Uh, my relationship, it was good. My father, he was good to me. I think I was the first one born in Argentina. He really loved Argentina, to tell you the truth. But he never forgot Italy. Italy, he always talked about Italy. Told me all the stories about Italy, and how it was. He loved Italy and Italians, but I mean, he just couldn't. It was a different world. It took, if you wrote a letter uh, in 1960, if you wrote a letter to Italy, it would take you 3 4 weeks before the letter got there. Nobody communicated. It's not like today. Today you just send a text and it's there. But it's kind of like they shut everything off and went to Argentina. Hardly even talked to his father, my grandfather. They hardly communicated anymore. But my father was. We were friends. I think he liked me.
Did he go with any brothers or sisters, like with your uncles, or did he leave with
No, he
other
was
people that were?
it was just him and a group of people from the same town.
All right. Okay.
That's a whole other story.
Then after Argentina, you ended up in the States. Do you want to ask about that?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to ask? Do you want to ask directly? Do you want to ask directly?
No, no, no.
So here Mohammed would like to ask you, how did you end up in the States? You're from Argentina.
Yeah, that's another story. My grandmother on my mother's side, she's Fierro. Uh, she was born in a place called Connecticut, which is right next to New York. And she was born 1800 or something like that, 1890 or something. But her father uh, went back to Italy and took her back to Italy. And she grew up in Italy, got married, and had all her children in Italy. And then my parents, I think, were the first ones to leave. So her daughter, my mother, went to Argentina with my father, and then my grandmother stayed in Italy, but then she came back to the United States and brought all her kids, all my uncles on the Fierro side, to Connecticut. And she was living in Connecticut. My mother was living in Argentina, and things were not going too great in Argentina. As you know, I don't know if you know, but the economy in Argentina is always messed up. It's never good. And my grandfather warned my father, said, "You go to Argentina, they change governments every week." He said, so I mean, it was true. But they got to a point that Argentina just got uh, unlivable. It wasn't good. So my grandmother asked my mother to come back with them to United States, and my father, of course, he did the paperwork. Tried to please his wife, so we ended up in the United States. And I'm over here in Oklahoma because I came to university here, and I got married here, and that's how I ended up here.
Oh, he's asking if you come to Italy sometimes.
Yeah, I was just there for a month. That's how I met Senora Daniela down in Berlin. There's an Italian military internee museum. I don't know if you know it, in Rome. I don't know if you knew that. And there's one in Berlin. And so I went and gave them the book, and then I went to visit all my relatives. I started in Apice, of course, and I still have first cousins there, and boy, they know how to make stuff, cheese and prosciutto, and oh my God, I ate every day, too much. And then I have a cousin in Milan, actually, in Monza. He used to be he's a retired carabiniero, and I have a cousin in Switzerland and Tuscany. Yeah, I was there for a month. I love Italy. I feel like I belong there.
All right.
Did you listen to music while you were writing?
Say again?
So they're asking if you were listening to music when you were writing.
Oh, no. Sorry. I don't know. I don't do that anymore. You see all the instruments up here. I played for a long time. I got kind of tired of playing, but No, I never got into the habit of listening to music while I do like schoolwork or whatever. I always like it quiet. That's just the way I do it. But you do it the way you want.
Yes.
Do you normally listen to music when you study, when you do schoolwork?
Mm. When I develop also.
Yes, because some of them are computer science students. Yes, when they develop a software, yes, they listen to music.
Yeah, my son is like that too. They put the headphones on and I knew somebody in college that was like that, and he never studied. But when it came to he was a medical student, and when it came to taking the test, he would go put his head down below his bed, like lay down with his head down, and listen to really loud music, and he would get A's every time. I never understood that, but I'm not that smart.
Alright, so okay. Any other questions, guys?
You ride bikes.
Guys, guys, relevant questions. Yeah.
It was all clear, or there were some difficult parts when you write it?
Okay. So Greta here is asking if it was all clear when you started, or there were difficult parts when you wrote the book.
Oh, it was very difficult. I had the story, uh, but I didn't know exactly where to put them, so I had to make a timeline, and then the timeline was wrong, and I had to switch it back and forth. That was the hardest part. And then not only that, but then you had to go back and read the book and edit it and look for mistakes and look for sentence structure and to make sure that it's readable. Oh my gosh, I must have read the book 100 times, and then I had to have other people edit it. My mother-in-law edited, my wife edited. I hired three professional editors. It just went on and on and on. 4 years. Uh, I hate to make it sound like it's uh, work. It is work, but once it's done, it's good. It's nice to have it done.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, yeah. It's a project, and you need to go through it again. You cannot do it yourself. You need a fresh set of eyes all the time.
Yeah, and then you get somebody to read it, make sure that it reads good.
Right. Yeah.
If you get a publisher, I'm self-published. I published it
Yeah.
myself. But if you get a publisher, they help you. You
They
get
have a proofreader.
yeah, they have a whole department of people doing it. But if you do it on yourself, it's a little bit of money too. But it's so easy now with the internet. You can get all the help you need. You can like I wrote some music 30 years ago, and I never did anything with it. But now I just get on the internet and find musicians, and they put the song together in a few months. You have a recorded song if you have a little bit of money. Not, it doesn't cost that much either. Unless some more questions.
Yeah.
Are you proud about your book?
Yeah. He's asking, are you proud? Are you satisfied about the book now?
Yes, I think I did everything I could. There's still a couple of details when I find out exactly where he was. Uh, I'll have to go back and put that in there. But yeah, I'm good with it. It's something, you know, to me, it was just something that I wanted to do, and uh, I don't know, leave a mark. Not really leave a mark, but like a testimony. Uh, my kids will have it. It'll always be there. It's never going to go away. Um, but yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Do you have any news about the location? I mean, are you in contact with some centers now?
Uh, Fabio over at the museum in Rome gave me a lead, and I'm looking it up. I had to formally request documents from Germany.
But what about in the forced labor camp in Berlin? Did they help you out?
Not as much as Fabio.
All right. Okay.
I mean, they gave me the Oralson, the database and all those, but he doesn't appear. I had I had to go to either Germany or the Italian defense to get the records.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah, it takes time, but it's possible because they were the people were always registered.
I hope so. They should be able to find it somewhere. But see that I didn't want to spend my whole life looking for all the details. That's why we made a novel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if I don't find out, it's still a good book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you ever like talk about with your children about I mean, about the story of your father?
Did you talk about the story of your father with your children?
With my kids,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, they're not interested. They're not interested too much. But my middle daughter, she was more interested. She made a report in school. I was very proud of her. She did a good job. But the kids, today, they're interested in computer games. And, my daughters, they're interested in boys. And they want to make their own lives. Of course, they know. They don't let up, but they don't let you know that they actually like the story. But they're busy with their lives. Go to work, go to school. Hopefully someday, maybe the main one of the main reasons was that uh, the movies on Netflix, they were terrible. So I said my story is a better movie. This could be a great movie in Italy. Just the book the way it is right now. It could be.
Yeah.
So maybe one of the kids, they'll wake up. Maybe they'll understand and take it further. But I think I can't go to the movie. It's just, whew. If it took me 4 years,
Very.
4 years to write a book, the movie would take me. I'll be dead before that. No, I think that book is it for me.
All right.
Maybe you guys,
Yeah.
maybe one of you guys are gonna be a film producer.
Game producer.
Yeah.
Maybe actors. Yeah. Maybe actors.
Come on, the people in Milan have connections. The Gucci and Armani, everybody in Milan.
You have connections. You have connections. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When he came here for a month, he went to see his relatives in Apice. Yeah. All right. So there are a few minutes left. If you have some more questions, otherwise we're gonna say goodbye, and I let you read the book if you want to read it. Please choose the English version, which is the first one, right? So a translation is in every translation, in my personal opinion, you always lose something. So it's the English version is the best one of the three. Am I correct?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can't read the whole Italian version, so I don't understand it that much. I speak a little bit here and there, but uh, yes, I would recommend doing the English.
Okay. Okay, there. I think we've got to say bye now because we have to switch class. Okay. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao. Bye. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Talk to you
Bye.
later.
Bye.